The book of Exodus starts with slaves in Egypt. Egypt, a kingdom of power and perfection, but beneath its gold lies the sound of chains. The Israelites, once honored as guests, are now prisoners of labor. Generations pass. Pharaoh's fear grows. He watches them multiply and imagines rebellion. So he builds cities with their sweat, bricks, whips, broken bodies. And when pain isn't enough, he turns to death, ordering every newborn Hebrew boy to be thrown into the Nile. But one mother refuses. She hides her baby for months, then lays him in a basket and sets him afloat. The river meant for death carries him to life. Pharaoh's daughter finds him. She names him Moses, drawn out of water. A Hebrew child raised in Egyptian royalty. A symbol of survival, hidden right inside the empire built to destroy him. Next is the story of the burning bush. Years later, Moses has fled Egypt. He's no longer a prince, just a shepherd in the desert, tending sheep that aren't his, in a land that isn't home. Then one day he sees it, a flame that won't go out, a bush burning, but never burning away. He steps closer, and a voice calls out, "Moses, take off your sandals. You're standing on holy ground." It's the voice of God, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He's seen his people suffering. He's heard their cries, and he's sending Moses back to confront Pharaoh. Moses hesitates. "I'm not ready. I can't speak. I'm not the one." But God replies, "I will be with you." Next is the story of the 10 plagues. Moses stands before Pharaoh. "Let my people go." Pharaoh laughs. To him, Moses is just a shepherd from the desert, serving a God he cannot see. But then, Egypt shakes. The Nile turns to blood. Frogs invade homes. Dust becomes gnats. Flies overwhelm the city. Animals fall dead in the fields. Painful boils spread on skin. Hail smashes crops and fire rains with it. Locusts eat what's left. Darkness covers the land for 3 days with no sunrise. 9 plagues, each one proving Egypt's gods are powerless. Still, Pharaoh refuses. Then, one last warning. At midnight, death enters every home in Egypt. Every firstborn dies, from palace to prison. But the Israelites are spared. They mark their doors with the blood of a lamb, a sign that judgment should pass over. That night becomes a tradition forever. Passover, the moment God set his people free. By sunrise, Pharaoh finally breaks. "Go," he says, "leave Egypt." And a nation of slaves walks into freedom. Next is the story of the Red Sea miracle. Hundreds of thousands march out of Egypt, a nation of former slaves walking toward promise. But freedom feels fragile. Behind them, Pharaoh's army thunders in pursuit. Ahead, the Red Sea blocks the way. Panic spreads. The people cry, "Why did you bring us here to die?" Then God answers, not with words, but with wind. Moses raises his staff. The sea roars and splits apart. Walls of water rise on both sides, and the Israelites walk through on dry ground. When Pharaoh's soldiers follow, the waters crash back and silence the empire. Freedom finally feels real, but it's only the beginning. Next is the story of the desert tests. Freedom tastes bitter in the desert. No water, no food, no direction. They complain. They question God. Fear makes slavery look safer than freedom. But even here, mercy appears. At Rephidim, the people are desperate. Moses strikes a rock with his staff. Water explodes out, a river from solid stone, and every morning the ground is covered in thin white flakes, manna. Food from heaven. It tastes like bread with honey. It melts if you try to store it, enough only for the day. A daily reminder, trust God or go hungry. At night, quail land in the camp, meet when they ask for more. Every step in the wilderness becomes a lesson, not of strength, but of trust. Not Egypt, not idols, not fear, but the unseen God who leads them forward, even when the path looks like a dead end. Next is the story of the Ten Commandments. At Mount Sinai, the mountain rumbles with smoke, thunder, and lightning. The people stand below, afraid to move, as God calls Moses higher into the cloud. There, God gives his people a new way to live. 10 commandments for a nation that once knew only slavery. No other gods, no idols, no misusing God's name. Honor the Sabbath, a day of rest for everyone. Honor your parents, no murder, no adultery, no stealing, no lying, no envy. These commands are simple, but they shape a community where justice, love, and respect are normal, not rare. For the first time, Israel has rules that protect the weak, guard the truth, and reflect the God who rescued them. Freedom isn't chaos, it's choosing what is right. Here in the wilderness, God forms their identity. They are not slaves anymore. They are his people, and he is their God. Moses comes down the mountain with 2 stone tablets, a permanent reminder of the covenant. Last is the story of the golden calf and the tabernacle. Moses returns to the mountain for 40 days, alone with God, receiving instructions for a sacred tent called the tabernacle. It will be a home for God's presence, right in the center of his people. A reminder that they are never abandoned. But down below, impatience becomes fear. The people worry Moses isn't coming back. They melt their jewelry and form a golden calf, a god they can see and control. They dance and worship like Egypt taught them, forgetting who saved them from slavery. When Moses returns and sees the idol, the stone tablets fall from his hands and shatter, the covenant broken before it even begins. Judgment comes. The calf is destroyed. The people are ashamed, unsure if God will ever take them back. But God is not done with them. He tells Moses to carve new tablets, a second chance written in stone. Instead of leaving them, God goes forward with his plan to live among them. The tabernacle is built, golden walls, woven curtains, and a special place called the Most Holy Place. And that's the book of Exodus explained. For more information, you can read these chapters. Israel's slavery in Egypt, Exodus 1 to 2. The birth and calling of Moses, Exodus 2 to 4. The plagues and the Passover, Exodus 7 to 12. The Red Sea crossing, Exodus 14 to 15. Water, manna, and God's provision, Exodus 15 to 17. The 10 Commandments, Exodus 19 to 20. The golden calf and the tabernacle, Exodus 32 to 34, 35 to 40. Next up, Leviticus. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.